To the next item, new business number 7, that's you again, Don.
Okay, so this is based on the census coming out in 2020. You'll notice I had 2020 populations in there. I know our populations changed, but everything goes back to the 2020. This is the apportionment plan. We go through this every 10 years. Now we have happen in between. So I'm going to go over some of the history of that. The apportionment plan I put in there was actually the template that FDOT uses, and usually I put a lot more history in there, but I followed exactly what they were looking for from the template, so that's why I'm adding some additional information up here. So after each 10-year census, we have to look at the composition of the board and see if that's changed based on population changes. It's due to FDOT by November 14th. So the apportionment requirements are in state statute 339.175, section 3 and 4. You can have 5 to 25 members. Equitable, and it doesn't say exactly how you calculate it, but it's equitable geographic population ratio basis. County commissioners are at least 1/3, except where all county commissioners are a single MPO are voting members on the board, which is what. There are some other requirements in there, about 20% if you do the max of 25, you're going to meet those requirements as well. The elected officials of general purpose local governments, which comes up all the time too. So the apportionment plans include the 2010 and 2020 census population for the area, the current MPO board membership, what is going to be proposed as part of that, the methodology used to determine any changes if there are any, the metropolitan planning boundary, which is we've been doing the county boundary for as long as I've been here. MPO resolution adopting the plan. So a little bit of history. Before 2000, the MPO board had 13 voting members. It was 5 for the county commissioners and 3 for Cape Coral, 3 for Fort Myers, and then this was before Bonita became a city. So then just in 2000, before the census data was out, I think Bonita was incorporated in 99, if I'm correct. It was then 5 for the BOCC, 4 for Cape Coral, 1 was added at that time, 3 for Fort Myers, 1 for Bonita Beach, and 1 for Sanibel and Fort Myers Beach. Then in 2001, after the 2000 census was released, essentially stayed at the same level. They said, well, nothing much changed, so it kept it at the 5, 4, 3, 1, 1, 1. In 2009, again, there was a request by the Bonita Springs to add 1 member, so that was what's happened, so it went up to 16 members at that time. And then 2013, after the 2010 census data release, again, looked at it and said, well, we want to keep it the same, so it ended up being at 16 members at that point. And then in 2015, if you recall, Estero was incorporated, was added in there, so and at that time, Cape Coral was added, 1 voting member was added as well at that time to get to the 18 that we have right now. So this is something, this was in the apportionment plan before that this MPO has been using to, what I was telling like the Cape Coral members the other day is you essentially look at population per member, but of course, county commission can't have any more than 5, so that's at 75,000, and then as you see, the average is 42,000. That whole graph right there is based on if you had 42,000 for each, how many would you have to have? You'd have to have 9 for Lee County, and then you see the other numbers as well. So we're recommending that no changes at this time. That falls into the minor no changes thing, and that we submit as in kind. So I open it up for any comments or questions anybody has.
Any questions, comments from the council?
Collecting data, you mean? It was a little later this year. I think it was probably around 2001, sometime late in there. We started getting stuff in 2021. We started getting data and stuff at the end of 2022. Well, April, they use what they say is the count is from April of 2000. That's when they say, okay, this is the point that we say our count is based on April of 2000 or April 2020. I don't know why I keep going back in the past. No, I'm saying when they're counting, they go out and send all the surveys out, they go out and count. I know they go and check it, but they say, were you living here in April of 2020? So they use it as April as the kind of cutoff point. Were you living in this house in April?
I've got a question. We revisit this every year, is that correct?
No, this is every 10 years, except if something comes up. So for instance, 2015, Estero was incorporated. That's when it came up. Now, the 2009 one, I think it was, Bonita had looked at their population changes and had requested an MPO board that be looked at. So that's the other side. You can bring it up. I mean, essentially, the board can bring it up at different times.
I mean, I just look at Estero at 36,000, almost 37,000 per member. Within a couple of years, that number is going to change with the apartments that we're building and all that. I'm not sure what the process is to maybe look at adding another member from Estero here. 10 years would be a long window.
Well, and see, that's where Bonita came in and said, requested to look at it again as part of that process. So that can happen too. Obviously, you've seen the news where Lehigh's talking about incorporating. Who knows? But if something changes from that standpoint, that's another time it will be addressed as well.
Mayor Bettner?
If they became an incorporated area, yes.
Mayor Bettner had a
Yeah,
question.
two questions. So Don, if I understand you correctly, bid to, at this point, can this board, say in 5 years, bring this topic of discussion up to reevaluate what the population is at that time?
Yes, it's happened in the past, so yes.
So just because the city incorporates, we can still bring it up at any
Right.
time.
Those are the things that happen in the time, the census, incorporation, and it's been brought up.
And I know we had this discussion on Wednesday in Cape Coral. Can you tell us exactly what that formula is and how that we determine that number of membership?
So essentially the population per member, if you take 377,000 and divide it by 5, that's 75,000 that's in there. If you take the 18 into the total, the average would be 42,000 per member essentially.
Per member?
Yeah. Now, all these coefficients on the right, I mean, the higher coefficient's fine, but if you're talking about some of these variables, they say, well, it's got a high, a high probability of each or whatever. Well, it doesn't really matter because those variables aren't that much different, so.
We all know our community pretty well, and especially the cities, and I think we all understand that in 2020 what happened with COVID, I think the census of those things the last 3 years, we all got shortchanged on that because we all know those numbers are not really accurate. You've seen the growth in Estero. In some areas, the county really didn't change much, but some areas throughout the county changed a lot. For example, if you drive through Lehigh or Cape Coral at 2 o'clock in the morning, you see 5 cars on driveways in St. Carlos Park. Anywhere in the county you go, Mr. Myers, there's not 2 people living in a house. And unfortunately, these are the numbers you have to go by, and we're all being shortchanged in many ways, from grants to transportation, utility projects because of that, because we all know the population is more than what we're having to go by. This is unfortunate.
We're currently over 800,000, but this is what the census said.
Yeah, but unfortunately, these people are just 2, 3, 4 families living together in a lot of areas, and they still count those households too, and we have to deal with that transportation and utility issues with that, so part of the project we have to go through. But like the mayor said, we've done it before. We increased the numbers from Cape Coral, and of course we need it back in 2009. Any other questions? We had a motion, I'm gonna go to Councilwoman Carr. Oh, was there a second? Tom made, Councilman Hayden seconded it? Okay. Any other discussions or comments? We start with public comment. Any public comment on this item? Come back. And go move for a...
This is just a regular vote.
Yeah, okay. Anybody opposed? No opposition. Okay, thank you.